Welcome back, everybody. The next series of videos you're going to see on Weiss Schwarz is my review of 2022, the sets that came out. I'm going to be taking a look at the pricing of the sealed and also the cards themselves. We're going to take a look at what happened here and hopefully develop some sort of trend going into 2023, what you want to actually be picking up or be cautious about. So first up, we are going to be doing a favorite of mine, Bang Dream. This came out in January, so we are going to hit it up first. There were extra boosters for Poppin Party, Roselia, Morfonica, A Suilen, and then we also had a trial deck for Morfonica. There was also a premium booster box for Girls Band Party, and we're going to be going over that as well. We are not going to be talking about the cheering collection that came out at the end of 2022. It didn't come out for everybody, so one day it'll show up at the Bushiroad Global online stores. That'll be a 2023 set in my eyes. First up, we're going to be doing the extra booster box. I will also say thank you to the people that came out to the live. As I was trying to research the 2022 sets, I put up 2 lives. Audrey came out there, so thank you, Audrey, for co-hosting that with me on the fly. I took those thoughts, those opinions, those questions, and I incorporated it into my thinking. I just didn't want to have my own thoughts here to develop an opinion. I wanted all of your opinion. We also talked about a lot of other random stuff. So if you're wondering what happened to those videos, it's in the club member section. I just didn't want that out there. There was nothing horrible in it. It's just I didn't want to put it out there, okay? What we are going to be looking at is this extra booster, and just to remind you what's inside of this thing. There were signatures, there were OFRs, there was a parallel for every card that we had. There was 50 type of normal cards, 50 types of parallels, and you know my hatred of OFRs. You know my hatred of having an equal number of normals to parallels. Don't like that whatsoever. And with that, here is the prices of our sealed. It is not good looking. I'm a fan of Bang Dream, and it hurts me to do this video. I do not want to do it. I just had this dread. I couldn't figure out why I didn't want to do these review sets, and it's because Bang Dream was first. And seeing what's happened with Bang Dream hurts my heart. It really does. So Poppin Party Roselia Extra Booster Box. We have this sitting at $20.99. You could pick them up originally around the $30 mark. I know some people bought on TCG Player as close to $50, and then eventually it started dropping off, and it did come back a little bit. Maybe we had some people picking it up for tournament play, but outside of that, it kept continuing down. As for recent sales, there are some sales that happen monthly, right? You can take a look here. There were some in December, some November, a few in October as well, and one in September. But outside of that, nothing else really has happened. It is a nice price to pick it up at if you enjoy Bang Dream, if you want to play with different cards, if you want to look at pretty cards. This is not a bad price to actually buy that at, because then you have to ask yourself, much farther can it go? We'll see that with Morphonica. But for now, SP wise, the big one, most people would have thought that knew Bang Dream or knew about Weiss Schwarz, Yukina. It's a playable card. We have a nice character, and then we also have the voice actor's signature. All 3 of those combined together gives you this price. Recently, there was a sale, but it's not showing here at this point. It did have some sales. It did have some sales recently. Market price shows $360. Right? You have this 439 TCG player price, but 360 is what the market price currently sits at. And I know that's an average, but that's the number we're going to use for this video, okay? There were some sales of Lisa back a while ago, but people are using it in decks, so nothing recently. You can see here under market price, there is no green numbers. The green numbers mean recent sales. Market price recently, we have Arisa actually being sold for $27.26. I think that is really low, but at the same time, it's not that playable, right? So $27.27 is what it currently sits at, but you have to add a little bit of shipping. Other cards out there, you see this Tae $395. Everyone else is below 100. Still respectable when it comes to pricing of SPs. Not everybody's trying to just shove it as low as possible. That's why I'm amazed to see Elisa and Tae sit at the prices they do, because people aren't really gonna fight it. They're diamond handsing it until someone comes along and I guess buys it, or I guess they won't buy it. Okay, OFRs. I said I hate these. I don't like them. They may look pretty, but at the same time, they take a slot of an SP. And when that actually happens, that takes away from the set overall. Because think again, EV, do people want to open this if you have a chance of opening a $3 OFR, a $2.90 OFR? That is scary to open and it hurts. It hurts to actually do that. Think about quintessential quintuplets when I get there with the amount of parallels they have and the potential of opening three $1 SRs all from one box. It is pretty awful. But when you look at these prices on OFRs, remember this is one of the hits that are actually described in this description. You know, it's out there. It's a hit. And when you get it, are you going to be happy to get that 290? Are you going to be happy to get this Rimi at $3? I love Saya, so it actually hurts me to see that. Feel like she should get a little bit more, but playability, character, and the card itself. We have Yukina still sitting here at $29.01. And move on from there, we're going to take a look at Morfonica and Raise a Suilen. We're going to take a look at the extra booster box first, $18.96. That's currently where this booster box sits at. That is with shipping included. So, you know, in most cases, like if you take a look at the other ones, maybe subtract $1 for shipping. But right now, $18.96 is where it sits at. Has there been some sales? Yes. January 1st, there was 5 boxes picked up at $18.96. Again, there were some sales in December, some in November, October, and one in September as well. Now, I think when I said earlier about Poppin Party, can it go further? Here you go. 1896 is where this one currently sits at. Can it go further than that? Yeah, potentially it could, but at some point, people, when you start doing the math and thinking about what you can pull EV wise, you're getting to the point where this is getting as low as it possibly can. I'm not saying to tell you to stock up on this stuff. It's just a fact, right? If you run the numbers on this, you're going to get to a point where it looks actually attractive from, let's say, an arbitrage standpoint. But then you have to factor in demand and people wanting to purchase it. So keep in mind, SP, I'm going to highlight this one right here. This one comes for the trial deck. For the purposes of the extra booster box talk, we're not going to be taking a look at it. So I'm going to just highlight that here because it kind of shades it out. Mashiro from the extra booster box is currently sold out. The nice part about this Morfonica Raise a Suilen one, if you take a look, is there are a lot of green numbers on here. More so than what we had on the Poppin Party, but not all. I mean, we got 5 here, and we also do have a sellout. The lowest one on this side is not that Arisa in the 20s. It's going to be the Lock in the 41s. And then you also have Pareo as well. So not as bad as what we had with Poppin Party Roselia. And we knew that going in. When I did my buy and invest, I said back then, I was like, you're going to have huge numbers with the Poppin Party Roselia. But overall, it looked like this was the more consistent one on actual sales, the Morfonica and Raise a Suilen. It might not be as high, but consistency. It really just depended on where you wanted to be at. Also, Chew 2 down here, $174.99. I know it hung out there for 200s. I know people bought it in the 200. We're $174.99. And Masking, my personal favorite out of Raise a Suilen, she's sitting at $94.98. Now, with the OFRs, it's not as pretty as what you had with Raise a Suilen. Well, not Raise a Suilen, with Roselia, right? And Poppin Party. You had that Yukina in the 20s. You have the highest one being Chu2. And I say highest because there was a green number under here, 849 is what it currently sits at. If I scroll down, we have Rui, $22.24. That's what it currently sits at, but there was no sales recently, so I would say really highest one is your Chew 2. The lowest one, and it hurts me because I just told you I love Masking. maskings OFR 51 cents, 99 cents for shipping. If you buy $5, you get the shipping for free. And it's just, again, going back here, let me just show you this one more time. One of the highlights of the set is OFRs and SPs, and your OFR is sitting here at 51 cents. That does not feel good at all. And has it been like this for a while? Yes. I mean, take a look. We have September 29th, 49 cents. You have November 19th, 51 cents. It is as bad as you can imagine it at this point. Now, trial deck. Your trial deck sits here at $7.43. If you wanted to try out Weiss Schwarz, this is not a bad trial deck to pick up. And I say that because it's cheap. Why not try Weiss Schwarz out for $7.43? Someone was asking on Facebook about, is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? For me, it's like, if you want to try out the game and you have an anime that you like, feel free to pick that one up. But if you're looking to just try out Weiss Schwarz, you don't want to spend a lot of money, and you don't really care which trial deck to pick up, this one's not a bad one. $7.43 to try out the game. I think that's pretty good. So inside of the trial deck, you had a possibility of getting an SP that would be our Mashiro here. And then you also had 4 triple rares. I'm going to switch over here to our handy dandy Excel, because what we have here is the listing right there. We have our SP 9397. There are 2 SPs inside of a case, leading us to 187.94. Okay, so triple rares, there were 4, like I mentioned here. We have Nanami at $8, Tsukushi 44.80, Rui 14, and Toko 3.99. That comes out to be an average of $17.70. There, I believe, was 8 triple rares inside of an actual case of trial decks. You can always change it to 6 if in the end it was actually 6, but I went with the 8 number. So in the end, you're taking this average, multiplying it by 8, 141.58. Why did I do all this? Because I wanted to know if you open all of the trial decks in the case and you got all the foils out of it, that is 329.52. And again, that is only if you could sell it at these current day prices. You can see here the only one recently sold out of the triple rares was your Nanami. Okay. All right. So if you somehow were to be able to pick up a case of trial decks at $600, which could be possible, how much is it going to take to break even? So we're going to take that $600 case, subtract out the foils from above. That leaves you at $270.48. If you have the luck of a god and literally opened all of these up, I'm going to do it divided by 38. I'm going to change my number here as I sit here and think about it. No, it's actually 40. 40. Here we go. If you were able to pull out, it's actually 38. And switch back. Sorry for this, changing this on the fly. So, thinking about this, if you get 6 triple rares, 8 triple rares, and 2 SPs, that leaves you with 38 trial decks to possibly sell if you were able to sell them as unopened, right? Like, let's say you just picked every one of them out. Somehow you map this sucker out. That means you have to sell these trial decks at $7.12 to get all of your money back. So this is one of those cases where it does not make any sort of sense to actually open any of these and try to find the foils, right? Think about this. So let me go back. Trial deck was selling for $7.43. People are having a little bit of an issue selling this at $7.43. If you could drop this to 7-11 to break even, but then you have TCG player fees, you have shipping and all that good stuff, you are losing. I think at this point, the best thing to do is, as awful as it sounds, you're probably going to have to buy this thing at $450 if you're trying to make any sort of profit, like opening up. Realistically, you probably don't want to do that at all. It is not worth opening the trial decks. Better left sealed. You can do the Rudy bathroom thing, take all of your product, and shove it into a deep dark place and hope one day that it does go up. That's my advice to you at this point. Um, I'm going over here now. We're gonna go back to this and take a look at Bushiroad Rumble Online. So the cool part about this is Weiss Tea Time again. We have the top eights of the group. There was only one deck to make it to the top eight for the Bushiroad Rumble Online, and that would be your choice Mashiro. Take a look right here. So we have your Mashiro. You can see why some of the cards were actually purchased, right? Some of these pictures should look familiar to you. We got even Yukina making an appearance down here again from the extra booster box. We do have, this is from, just so you can see, the BCS Bushiroad Championship Series that is currently taking place. I'm going to search for Bang Dream. The easy part about this was there was only one to show up. This is your choice layer deck. And that is right here. So again, you can see we got our two Chew showing up. We have some of our uh, Morfonica cards in there. And then we also have our Yukina. She shows up again. So overall, we've been seeing the same kind of cards reflected in both decks. But when you scroll through BCS, you're gonna see a lot of Hololive. You're gonna see a lot of Quince. You're gonna see some AOT, Tokyo Avengers. Ah, look at this one. Hololive. Dang, that was crazy. Anyways, but you're not gonna see a lot of Bang Dream. That's part of the issue that's going on here. So with your double rares, what I'm gonna show you here is that price reflection. We have Yukina, who was usable in both of those decks right there, showing up at $15.80 for the parallel foil. We have the non-foil as $10, and like I said, there was people that played with this Lisa, so you'd see it in the 340. So the foil, 275 non-foil, and the rest of the cards are down there. Next is our Morfonica Raise a Suilen. We have our Chew that was showing up in the deck. You can see that $8 and $9.45. You also did have some other cards here, but nothing crazy. You have a Nanami here at 560 and 729. If you're wondering why this 560 is here, it is because someone just wants to get rid of it. I mean, at some point, you just want to get rid of these cards. I think some people gave up on holding on it. We have this 729 for this non-foil version. So if it actually is one of those ones where if you want to get rid of it, there's a point where foil should be higher than non-foils. When I start seeing people pricing the foils lower than the actual non-foils, that's not a good sign at all on where like the supply and demand of this is currently at. I know on my live we talked about possible curling. I took a look at my cards and they were perfectly fine. There was no issues with any sort of curling on the cards itself. Okay. Bang Dream Premium. I didn't want to talk about this one. This one was not so good. So Bang Dream Premium, let me go back here. I didn't have this one up, but I did a whole video talking about this one on the Bayern vest. There were 35 holotypes, 35 hot stamp. There were different images on used for both cards, which I love. I love that. With your BDRs, the Bang Dream Rare, is that what they call it? Let's see, it's the, what do they call these things? It's the Band Rare. Yeah, well, Bang Dream Rare. I'm going with the band. I guess they go band. I don't know what it is. BA. Okay, well, anyways, regardless of what the name is, you can put them together. It was really cool. And for a while there was a lot of them going really cheap. You can see the Yukina 845, Rinko 837, Chew 787. But you had cards like this Maya, and then you also have the Sugumi. If you take a look at it, the lows on these things were like 81 cents. They were all the way down here. I'm going to show you Sugumi real quick. 61 cents is where that one was sitting at too. So there has been some increases because people saw this. The cards look beautiful, wanted to pick them up. Definitely a good price. on these actual cards. So you see an increase here. One of the tricks, and I didn't want to tell anybody this, on how to make this more expensive, how to force people to pick up singles, is this is my evil brain thinking, and this is why I didn't actually openly come out and say that, was you can strategically target one girl from each band. And the reason for doing this is it forces a person to make the decision on, do I buy a box of this or do I buy out the singles? There's a point here that these cards came out to be under $100, but because people have bought up some of these cards that are lower, right? Like the Tsugumi, the Maya, now it's over. I'll show you the pricing after this. With the super rare versions of these cards, they don't all connect together, but still lovely. Anybody that's ever held a super rare in your hands, really cool looking. But you could see the pricing on some of these. It's just awful, right? Like it's right here. Let's just take a look. So you have Tomoe, 24 cents. And the reason why this product was not very good is because you were able to pick up all the cards from basically two boxes, all the super rares from two boxes. Unless you have terrible luck, you are able to actually do that. And because of that, that's why you have these super rares below $1. With TCG Player, what I did was I shoved them all in my cart. Currently, if you were to purchase this, like the entire master set, it would come out to $133.25. So now you're sitting here with that decision that I said earlier. Do you buy five of these boxes and gamble? Do you buy two or three and then buy out the rest of the singles that you need? I don't know, but it's pretty close to the actual overall total, 133 versus potentially just buying five of these at $100. $19.99. This thing was really bad. I can't imagine how sellers feel on it. I feel like that was in the 50s at some point. And let me just see. Let me hit this button. Yeah, people had this all the way up in the 80s. And again, gradually over time, we ended up here in the 20s. It was not a good feeling on this. So if you're looking for Bang Dream premium cards, singles are still cheap, but you can also do the whole gambling thing. Okay. Next is Amiami. The reason I'm showing you this is to prove one point, is on Amiami ReBirth for you, you have a lot of sales that actually happened. But as sales as in, like people buying actual boxes. When you take a look at Bang Dream, this literally has a sale label on here. Did you know that ReBirth for You put out a Bang Dream booster box not too long ago? But as you can see here, it has not fared too well. You could look at the other products that were offered. We have New Japan Pro Wrestling. You have Kagi Nando. But when you take a look, I don't see a whole lot of these sale labels on these products, right? Like, for the most part, they've all done pretty well. Like the Konosuba one did really well. The Licorice Recoil one did really well. And also recently, the ReBirth for You trial deck did really well. But Bang Dream under the sale. And I show that to you to prove the one point about Bang Dream. There are issues that are not just related to, I guess, just Weiss Schwarz itself. You have ReBirth for You, and there's some solutions to all of that. So we also have a fifth anniversary coming out on April 7th, 2023. Knowing that sellers kind of not did so well on premium booster Bang Dream, knowing that they didn't do well on the extra boosters or trial deck. And I will tell you, if you go back to my videos on the Bang Dream extra booster box, you could see some sellers did not even offer this stuff because they knew what was going to happen if they were to attempt to do that. Interesting enough, some of those sellers that refused to sell this actually picked up the premium booster box. I think they thought the collectors may be excited to get in on it, and maybe that's why they chose to sell it. But what does that mean for fifth anniversary? I guess we'll see that in our buy or invest video that will be eventually coming along. That also is, if you're wondering what I'm going to be doing with those, I've always said I hate pre-ordering super early because I don't like seeing people lose their money. for potential places that could be shady or could potentially go out of business. So for a while, I'm going to just throw the buyer invest under the club member thing. And then eventually, as it gets closer and closer to the release date, that's when I will actually put them out. So you're not going to see them until closer to before release in the future. The rest, I'm just going to make the video and throw it in the club member thing. And then once I feel it's good enough to put out, timeline wise, I'll put it out. Okay, so we also have the Japanese side. The fifth anniversary came out on March 11th, 2022. Real question here, are they going to do anything for 2023? Right now we have up to February for the Japanese release. Nothing yet for March and beyond. So we will see that. I know they had like a schedule up there with question marks and all that good stuff, but nothing officially yet showing up on this page under 2023. Now, my final thoughts on all of this. So let me go back to the sealed. If you like Bang Dream, if you're looking for a price that makes sense to actually buy, at this point, it could go a little bit further down, but it's not going to be much. I know everyone loves a sweet deal, but at this point, I think you're at the people holding on to this stuff. I don't think there's going to be a lot of shoving down. I don't think this thing's ever going to hit $10 because it doesn't make sense, right? That Yukina is above a certain price. It's not going to happen if you could just open it up. Again, it takes people to buy the card, but realistically, I can't see that happen because more sets could eventually come out for Bang Dream that could potentially use the cards inside of this box. So when it comes to the box, I feel like this is where it could be. Could the trial deck go down a little bit further? Yeah, it could. I mean, we saw trial decks for Saikano, even for Attack on Titan, go as low as $5. So you always have that possibility. But when it comes to the extra boosters, pretty low as it is right now. Okay, with the cards itself, I hate OFRs. I will reinforce that statement with what I have seen here today. My final thoughts on this is Bushiroad IP. I feel like we hear this all the time that Bushiroad is able to make Bang Dream products because it's something they own. They don't have to license this out. But at the same time, it's like I feel like they take that for granted, right? But when you look at Bang Dream, it is music, games, anime. I showed that in my video of all the different properties, all the different things that Bang Dream do, but you can't neglect it, shove it out, and expect people to just buy it. That's not what should be happening or their thought process on that. Fifth anniversary is going to be a telltale sign in many ways on the future of English when it does come out. Because even if they put one out in Japan for this year, for 2023, will what happens with fifth anniversary force them not to put it out for English? I don't know. We'll see. There is a listing here. As you can see, there is a row. There's several rows missing from this Excel sheet because there is a way to fix Bang Dream. I am not going to say that in this video. There is a reason why I'm not going to do that. It's because if Bushiroad wants to know, feel free to write me because I'm not just going to put it out there at this point. I think it's one of those ones where there are ways to actually fix this, but at the same time, I feel like they don't listen to people, right? You could say they have people that they actually listen to, but for the most part, I think they're whoever they're consulting, it's not the right people. And I knew they would do watch these videos. I knew they watch other people's videos. So if you want the answer, if you want to know what I'm thinking on it, I do have some ideas, and they are under here. So feel free to write me, and I will have a nice little chat with you because there's other things I want to talk about as well. So it's like a give and take. You want to know how to fix Bang Dream, you write me. And I'm going to have other things for you to fix as well. So we'll have that conversation if you ever want to Bushiroad. Okay? Okay. But with that, hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully it's helpful. As always, have fun, be happy, and don't spend anything outside of your budget.